Greetings to you. This is Dr. O, the PA Pro, and this installment I'm going to talk about trail running. This is a continuation of my past trail running videos, but I'm also going to talk about some health issues while you're working out in general. There's a lot to be said about different forms of hydration. Hydration's very important while you're working out because you lose fluids, but some of you all that may have health conditions, you've got to be really careful about the type of hydration that you put in your body. And I've got my sons that are helping me. My daughter's the expert camera person. So this is, Powerade along the same lines as Gatorade. It's basically a different form of Gatorade, but you'll see that it says advanced electrolyte systems. It's got a lot of vitamins in it, B3, B6, B12. This is really a marketing gimmick for a lot of these hydration drinks. You don't really need these things in very high quantity. B vitamins do play a very important part in the human body, but you only need them in very small amounts. If you look here at the label on this, I don't know if you can see that, it says one of the ingredients is high fructose corn syrup. And if you look at the nutrition servings, it's got carbohydrates. This is what, 22 grams of carbohydrates. That's quite a bit. 21 grams of those carbohydrates are from sugars. You got to be careful if you have a health condition like diabetes. Why? Because the carbohydrates and the sugars can really throw off your glycemic control. So you can put yourself into a hyperglycemic state. And also, let's see, what else are we looking at? So niacin, if you're on different types of lipid lowering agents, one of those lipid lowering medications is often niacin. This has got a relatively high content of niacin. This bottle is 2.5 servings per container. So in actuality, you're getting about 35, almost 40% of the niacin that you need from this one bottle. So if you drink this and you take a niacin pill for lowering your cholesterol level, you may have something called a niacin flush, which is a very unpleasant, itchy feeling. So you got to be careful with it. It's better to check with your primary care provider before drinking these things in very large quantities. Can you hold that, please? Here's another one. I'm going to skip here and go to my youngest son, Ahmed. This is vitamin water. Vitamin water is great, but one of the things that this particular type of vitamin water has got in it is caffeine, I think. Where is it? Okay, yeah, so look at this here, if you can see that. 50 milligrams of caffeine. That's not a large amount of caffeine, but if you have a heart condition, you're already working out, then you put caffeine on top of that, it can cause heart palpitations, cardiac arrhythmias or dysrhythmias. So again, check with your primary health care provider before drinking these things in large quantities. They're often touted as health drinks, but it can actually do more harm than good in some cases. What else does this have in it? Very high sugar content. So 33 grams of sugar, or 32 grams of sugar, and 33 carbohydrates per serving. You want to be careful with that, again, if you've got diabetes. At niacin, 100% of the serving of niacin. If you're on lipid lowering agents like niacin, you got to be careful of taking these things into your body. One other thing, thank you. If you have a healthcare condition like high blood pressure, persistent high blood pressure, or hypertension, your clinician may have prescribed a thiazide diuretic for you, specifically hydrochlorothiazide. These types of diuretics are called potassium wasting, and they can lead to a condition called hypokalemia. So you're losing potassium. You got to replace that potassium if you have not been prescribed a potassium pill. You could do it with foods such as bananas and so forth. Here's a good drink. I don't have high blood pressure, but I like to hydrate with this. So coconut water is an excellent source of electrolytes. You can move in closer there, Nabila. This is very high in potassium, so 500 milligrams of potassium per serving. Not as much sodium, which is good, because if you've got high blood pressure, hypertension, you want to stay away from a lot of these conventional sports drinks that are very high in sodium. So coconut water is a very good way to replenish your fluids when you've got to work. Can you hold that, please? So, things that you want to look for in a sports drinks. You want to be aware that a lot of these sports drinks have a relatively high caffeine content. They can be high in carbohydrates or sugars. Vitamin content, you want to be careful of that. And some of the drinks may have various types of proteins in them. So whey protein, soy protein, even animal protein. If you're allergic, if you have any allergies to these things, you want to be wary of that. So again, yeah, just the caveat, when you're going to imbibe hydration drinks, when you're doing your workout or running, check with your primary care provider and say, look, is this an okay thing for me to have? But I wish you the best. Please subscribe to my site, and I'll try to answer any questions that you may have about issues such as these. I wish you happy running. Peace.